So here we are in Excel, and we're gonna create the amortization schedule for 5 years, which is 60 monthly payments for this car payment. So month is number one, and the starting balance for month one is gonna be $24,123,000. The payment that we're gonna make each month, we decided through work we did, was gonna be $463.99. So we'll write 463.99, and that's going to be the same every month when I do it. So that's not going to change with each passing month. We'll see that when we do row 2, how that occurs. Here what we're going to do is we're going to have it equals for the interest, go to the balance at the start of that month, multiply it by the 6%, so divide by 100 for percent, and then divide by 12 for monthly. And now what we want to do each month is we want it to begin with the starting balance, which is what we began the month with, what we owed. And then we want to subtract from that. We always want to go to get this payment minus the interest. Now that is in parentheses, so that determines the value that we found when we said, all right, let's take the $463.99 and subtract the interest for this month and create a number that we don't see in this chart to get that to drop. So the 120 shrinks the 463 down to approximate, so we'll call it 464, down to about 234, and then that 334, and takes that off. Now when we did it back there, it was 343.99 on the board. So that comes off and gets me the new balance. Now what I want to do here is I always want my next month to equal the number above it plus 1. So when I bring that down to go 3, 4, 5, 6 instead of all being 2s, what I want this to always be is equal to the way that the balance ended the last period that I had it. Now what do I want my payment to be? I want my payment to be exactly the same as it was above. So I want it to be $463.99. And what do I want the interest to be? I'm going to copy this down, and it's going to come down as 100, and it would come down normally as 120. But actually, that's because this was 120. When I look up there, it says go to B3, go to row 3 and grab my $24,000 balance. When I come down here, it knows that I'm a row lower. So instead of looking where the 24,000 is, it looks right there where the 23,656.01 is. That's because I did not put a $sign in there to lock the row that we're in. And then I'm going to have this be the same kind of process that I just did. That's 23,310.30, which is right where we wound up with that. Now these aren't looking so awesome, so I'm going to go ahead and set them up to be better as money figures. I don't want them to go to 5, 6 decimal places and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and format all the cells to have them be the numbers that they are, that have 2 decimal places, and click that's okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and center them so they look a little bit better. And then I realized, oh, you know what? I don't want these to have 2 decimal places, so I don't want decimal places counting my month. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take what's now been created to go month to month getting my work done, and I want to take it down until I reach the 62nd row. So let's see if I can do that. This doesn't want to scroll so well for me, but okay. So I'm going to grab this row, which has now gotten me through 18 months. That's a year and a half. But I got to get through 60 rows. And now I'm through 4 years. At 4 years' time, I still owe over $5,000. Then I'm going to grab this one. And what you can do is you could scroll all the way down to the 60 months if you needed to and get it all in one full pass through what we've got there. But what this does is every month it starts with the balance from the previous month. It takes a payment of $463.99 from the customer. It determines how much of that should be interest, and it puts that away for the bank's money for that month, basically renting the use of their money. And then it gives the rest of it as credit toward lowering your balance. And as I had said, when we went with this, we went with $463.99. And what this says is, oh, on that last payment, if you pay me $463.99, you're going to pay me 19 cents too much. So what we're going to do is we'll adjust the last payment to be $463.80. Remember, that's 19 cents. Because over 60 payments, we paid 19 cents too much. If we paid 1 penny less, we would have come up short on our payments. So what they do is they do push you up to make sure you're paying the $463.99, which is a little bit more than exactly what you owed, and then your last payment gets to be 19 cents lower. This goes through the whole bunch of months and shows that it gets to zero. Now there's one other thing I wanted to show here in Excel, and that's something called a function. So if I go to insert, and if you've ever seen it, there's a function. I want to find the payment, and there is a function in here called the payment function, and it's PMT. And I want to use Excel to make that determination. Now what it's saying is, for Excel, I want you to give me these numbers. I want you to give me the interest rate. So I'm not going to put in just 6, I'm going to put 6, divide by 100, and divide by 12. And that's going to generate my 0.05 interest rate. The number of periods that I want to do here, I want to do 5 years times 12. That's going to get me 60 payments. And I want to do $24,000. 1, 2, 3. And I want to go ahead and hit return. Let's see. Future value of 0. Let's see. 24,000. 1, 2, 3 $1,000. And I want to hit return. And right there, you see what it did. It took my 6 over 100 divided by 12, and that's what it wanted for my periodic rate, which is what we've been using, and it makes it actually 0.05. We have another thing here where it says the number of periods. I put in there 5 times 12. It actually shows me that that's going to be $60. And then it says present value. What's the value of the amount that we're borrowing? And I put in the $24,000. That was able to determine the amount of money that I was going to owe in each payment, and it came up with what we did, $463.99. So Excel has these other things where it can do the function of some of the work, basically take those numbers and apply our formula for us, and then spit out that value for you. But you still have to notice periodic interest rate, number of periods, and $24,000 is your payment. And then that's where we can get this, so that we can generate the entire process here by asking people, what's your APR? Is it paid monthly? And how many years? How much you're borrowing? And then we give them that information. They'll generate the $463.99. They'll take what we gave them to put it here. They'll use it appropriately to find the interest amount. They'll determine the payment, and they'll be able to run all of these from just those inputs that they gave us, which was how much you're borrowing, what's the APR, how many times per year, and how many years. And that can get everything, and they can generate this. But this shows how it gets down to zero. What we looked at there, I'm reading them off the screen, was $24,120, 2365601, and the next one begins with that, and it's 1828, and then 231030, and then the last row that you may have gotten on your own starts with 231030, 11655, and $22,962.86, and that's the end of the third month, which is what we had found on the board. So that shows that this is the exact payment that you want. If you went up by a penny, you would go more than, in this 60 month, you go more than 60 cents over payment. If you come short by a penny, you're not going to get this thing fully paid. So that's how loan amortization works. We're also going to have a look at some in the homework.